Okay, let's talk about the ABCs of math. And I don't know about you, but I don't remember exactly who or how I learned the ABCs. I'm sure it was a combination of maybe my mother practicing with me and obviously school teachers. But somehow at a very young age, I was able to, just like you, assimilate and learn the ABCs, which was the very, very beginning of learning how to express myself with the language of English, right? So once we learn the ABCs, okay, the letters of the alphabet and how they sound, then we can kind of form words and then sentences, etc., right? So in mathematics, the ABCs are numbers, okay, and we're going to take a kind of a deep look at the very basic foundational concepts of numbers. And I think a lot of students don't know the number system as well as they may. Okay, but in fact, it's critically important that you definitely understand the numbers and type of numbers and how we form other type of numbers from basic numbers. And this is really kind of the ABCs of math. So we're going to get into all of that in just 1 second. But first, let me go ahead and introduce myself. My name is John. I'm the founder of TabletClass Math. I'm also a middle and high school math teacher, and over many years, I've constructed what I like to believe is one of the best online video-based math help programs there is. So whether you need to take a full math course or you need assistance in a course that you're taking right now, my program can help you out. So I'll let you be the judge of that. I'm going to leave a link to my math help program in the description of this video if you're interested. But just know in my program, I have full comprehensive lessons and I teach you how to solve the most common type of problems in middle and high school mathematics. And I literally solve thousands of problems within my program, all video based. Again, if you're interested, you can find that you can find it by following the link in the description. Now, if you're watching this video, I assume you may be studying mathematics in a course. I have to stress this because it's just the math teacher in me, the importance of note taking. Okay, kind of over the decades, there's one thing that I strongly believe, and that is those students that take the best notes generally have the best math grades. Okay, and the reverse is true. Those students that have no notes, unorganized notes, sloppy notes, etc., etc. Um, often struggle in math. So take a hard look at your notes. There's always room for improvement. There's very, very few students that take what I would say as almost near perfect notes, and we all can improve. But if you're really, not doing well in note taking, that's an immediate area of concern for you. But in the meantime, you're likely going to need something to study from. So I actually offer notes, very detailed, comprehensive. I'm going to leave a link to those in the description of this video. But those would include pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and trigonometry. So you can find those by following the links in the description. But anyways, so let's get into the ABCs of mathematics. So again, kind of like what I was talking about in language, okay, when we learn the written language, we learn how to write and read, etc. We have to start off by learning the very, very foundational. Kind of think of this as the DNA, right? The molecules. It's the building blocks of English. Okay, so that would be A, B, C, etc. Okay, now mathematics, all right, is a language as well. Okay, so how do we express ourselves in mathematics? Well, obviously, we use numbers, okay? And then, of course, in algebra, which is a type of mathematics, we use variables, but the very, very foundation of mathematics is numbers. Okay, so let's take a kind of quick review of the type of numbers there are and things that you've probably been working with for some time, but may not have appreciated the number system that you're working with. So, and this is very important that you understand. This is not just like a video that's kind of trivial information, like, hey, look, this is interesting. This is important stuff because you need to understand the number systems in mathematics. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start from the very basics. And let's take a look at these numbers here: 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. So these numbers, the very, very basics here, are referred to as the counting numbers. Oftentimes are also referred to as the natural number system. And we define this set here This is what we would call a set of numbers. So we could put a little bracket like this and a little bracket like so. Okay, a set is like a train set or a set of, like a puzzle, okay, or whatever the case is, like something you have a box in, okay, a bunch of things are in here. We call this a set. Now, inside this set, okay, we have one, two, three, four. This thing goes on and on and on infinitely, okay, so we can't write out all the numbers. So what we do is just give this a name, okay, so generally, most common name for this would be the natural numbers, and it's defined as with the capital N. Okay, and sometimes you'll see it like this with a little set around this. So this is the natural numbers, or the counting numbers. And let's just think about it, right? Why would you call this the counting numbers? Well, way, way, way thousands of years ago, when people were starting to figure out, math, just start intuitively thinking about that. Maybe they were using their fingers, and they're like, I got one finger or two finger. They're like, well, how many buffalo is out there? Well, maybe they would put up three fingers to indicate there's three, buffalo or whatever they want to express. This is what they saw in nature, okay, or this is the basics of counting, okay. So this is the natural numbers, and it's important that you understand that this set of numbers is referred to as the natural numbers or the counting numbers, okay? All right, now let's get into here. We have the natural numbers, okay, going on. Of course, this continues on, but look what we have here now. We have this lovely 0. So when we take the natural numbers of the counting numbers and we add 0, okay, we have the whole numbers, and that set of numbers is indicated with a capital W. It's the most common kind of notation. We can put a little sets around that. This is the whole numbers, but 0, okay, is a really important concept. 0 wasn't always around, okay? If you kind of look up the history of 0, it's about 5,000 years old when it was kind of discovered or invented, however you want to think about it, because people started figuring out, they're like, hey, I need to be able to express. Let's kind of go back to our example. Let's say, hey, somebody was saying, hey, how many, horses do you see out there on the plain, or whatever the case is? If they didn't see any horses, they wouldn't, how would they express empty or there is none? Okay, well, so people started figuring out, or a placeholder, this concept of 0. And by the way, it wasn't always a round circle like this. They had different symbols, but it stood for, it represented the concept of 0. So very, very important in history. So it's not just a trivial number, but when we have 0 added to our counting numbers or our natural numbers, we have the whole number system. Okay? All right, so let's keep building to these numbers. And now we enter the integers. So if we kind of look here, we have the whole numbers here, okay? And these over here, okay, these guys right here, let's kind of highlight it like so. Those appear to be the negative of the whole numbers. Okay, so if we just look here, we have 1, and then we have -1, 2, the -2, etc. So people started figuring out we need to have an expression of something that would represent, let's say here's the ground, and here's a hole, and let's say here's a tree, okay? Maybe the tree was 10 feet, but we needed something to express less than 0, okay? So like, let's say this hole was maybe -6 feet, okay? So this concept of negative numbers and positive numbers was created, if you will. So we have the negative whole numbers and the positive whole numbers with, of course, zeros included in this. You take all that in combination, we have the integers. Okay, so these are the integers, and this set here is a capital I, the little brackets around it like that, or just like this, or like this. Okay, so positive and negative numbers, okay, but whole numbers, positive, negative, whole numbers, okay, expressed like this, are the integers, not just positive, negative, any numbers. These specific numbers here, this set is the integers, okay? All right, so let's move on. Now let's consider the integers, okay? So here are our lovely integers, and Let's take a look at the kind of numbers we can form using integers. Now, what we're going to be talking about here is the rational numbers. And rational numbers is any number that we can express as a fraction using integers. So for example, let's take this guy right here, negative 3/4, okay? So I can use this negative 3 and this positive 4, and I can express this number, negative 3/4. So any number that can be expressed as a fraction, okay, using the integers is what we call a rational number. A rational number. And the symbol for that, most frequent symbol for that, is a capital Q. Don't ask me why it's Q. I probably have probably learned why it's Q, but it's generally referred to as a Q, okay? Like so, and you have little brackets around that. But we're talking about the rational numbers. Now, if you look here, we have fractions here like 1/2. I can use this and this to form 1/2. 0, of course, would be in there. Now, let's take a look at, let's say, 10. We're saying, well, 10, that looks just to be a whole number, not a fraction. Well, 10, I can think of that as 10 over 1, okay? So any like whole number, integer value, or fractions where the numerator and denominator are integer values is a rational number. This is a very, very important concept here. But let's take a look at some number like this. If I said 0.25 what type of number is 0.25? Well, because this number can be expressed as a fraction, the fraction 1/4, okay, we would classify this as a rational number as well. So the real technical definition of a rational number is any number that can be expressed as a fraction made up of integers. Okay, that's the rational numbers. Very, very important. All right, so let's continue to move on, and that would be our irrational numbers. So what do you think these type of numbers are? So we have like the square root of 7, negative of the square root of 7, or the square root of 2, or we have our lovely pi symbol here, pi, right? So irrational numbers, typically we express this by I, R, or like so. Okay, brackets around an I and R. But these are numbers that cannot be expressed as a fraction, okay, of integers. All right, so we just can't, there is no fractions here. Let's consider the number pi, okay, pretty famous, right? So pi is approximately equal to the decimal 3.14, okay? Now, it's kind of widely known, if you didn't know it, that you can use this estimate, okay, rough approximation of pi as 3.14, or 22/7 is another approximation. Now, these are just estimates, of the value of pi. But in actuality, pi, this thing goes on, okay? If I was to try to figure it out, it goes on, this decimal goes on, 3.14, and I'm just kind of guessing here. I think it's like 1.5, whatever the case is. People, by the way, if you don't know about the number pi, there's people who actually know like like 100 plus digits of pi's. It's crazy. Matter of fact, I should look this up. But there's people like in the Guinness Book of World Records that actually have memorized digits of pi that go way, 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 way out here, infinitely, right? But here's the deal. The pi, the digits, as we kind of keep writing them, do not repeat, okay? They do not repeat. In other words, they're just, we don't know what they are. We have to continue to kind of look at the number. So they don't repeat, and it doesn't terminate. So this decimal just keeps going on and on and on. No repeating pattern. In other words, it's not going like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, right? There's no repeating pattern because that's a different story. So decimals that non-repeating decimals and non-terminating decimals are irrational numbers, and these numbers cannot be expressed as a fraction of integers. Okay, so for example, square root of 2, we just can't find some value of integers for the numerator and the denominator. Okay, numerator, denominator, that would be exactly equal to the value of the square root of 2. Okay, so we got irrational numbers. Now, again, don't look at these square roots and be kind of fooled here, because you might say, oh, all square roots. This is another common confusion. All numbers that have a square root on them is an irrational number. No, not at all. So like we have the square root of 16, that's equal to plus or minus 4, okay? So that is a rational number, okay? It's only those square root values that we cannot express as a fraction, okay, or other numbers that we can't express as a fraction of integers, okay? So pi is a famous one. E is another super important value in mathematics, but I think you get the picture. Okay, so let's pull this all together. And what we got here is the total combination of the real number system. So you start off with the natural numbers or counting numbers, then we added 0, we have the whole numbers, and then we have the positive, negative, the whole numbers, that was the integers. And then we made fractions from the integers, that was the rational numbers. And then any number that we can't express as a fraction of integers left us with the irrational numbers. But all these numbers combined is what we call the real number system, okay, or the set of real numbers. And typically, you'll see it as a big capital R like that, or again, a big R like so. And this is what you've really been used to. And we can kind of see this on a number line. So here's 0, and all on this line, we can find all the numbers that we just learned about, right? So we got the counting numbers here. We got some integers. We have right here pi. Okay, there's pi, so there's an irrational number. Over here would be square root of 2. And of course, we have right here 1/2, which is a rational number, etc. Okay, but the real number system is really the building blocks of mathematics up until the point where we need something beyond the real number system. So you might say, well, is there other number systems beyond the real number system? There absolutely is. Okay, so we have the real number system, and this is where we learn our basic arithmetic, etc. But eventually, we come to learn something called the complex number system. Okay, and this is a little bit more advanced algebra. Okay, but it's not trivial. Okay, and the real number systems are actually part of the complex number system. So number systems in mathematics are very, very important, okay? And I think most students just don't appreciate, kind of like the foundational building blocks of mathematics, right? So if you kind of knew about these numbers, hopefully now, this has cleared up any confusion that you may had. But if you found this video in some way helpful or enlightening, or interesting, please consider smashing that like button. I would definitely appreciate that. And if you're new to my YouTube channel, hopefully you'll become a subscriber. I've been on YouTube for a long time. I have hundreds and hundreds of math videos on my channel organized in various playlists. They're there for you. I love teaching math, and I'm teaching stuff all the time. But again, if you really want to find my best resources, just check out the links in the description of this video. But with that being said, I definitely wish you all the best in your mathematics adventures. Thank you for your time, and have a great day.